Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court?
Aha! I was going to ask the same thing.
I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. You couldn't have seen that. And during that time, you climbed over the
chain link fence.
Then when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this? What is it, Mr. Wright? You could not have done this. You could not have done it. Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Ahem. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in Block B, you couldn't have seen it. Screaming!
Order! Order! What is the meaning of this?
It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies.
Objection!
That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you allow me a question.
Oh, blah, blah, blah. That's Edward.
That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question.
Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counter-attack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about where she saw it. Miss Skye tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it.
Pointless to lie, I see.
But say the witness did actually see Miss Skye using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it.
Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was this witness when she saw the crime?
All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Starr witnessed this crime was here. Okay, so she was either in A block or she was in the security room. Now she said that she was going to see her boyfriend, so I'm gonna think that she was in the security room because I don't think that Lana Skye would have killed somebody and then gone. So we're gonna go with that. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed, the security guard room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot.
She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone.
That's where her boyfriend is. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime in the back of the partition is there. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could have turned. Today, a man has gotten the better of Angel Starr.
Order! Order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better.
I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Skye? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason.
So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright.
Huh? Me?
Who else?
Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Scientifically. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard room. But she lied and said she saw it from Block B. It must make a vital difference, but what? What would it change? I mean, it changes the distance to the crime. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright. When one look at the floor plans, and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in the question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness you. Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend.
Boysenberry for the boyfriend.
He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Jesus, that's a long way around. That's why I had to go through the visitor's parking in Block B.
That's quite a detour.
It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime.
For 5 minutes? This changes things considerably.
But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork.
You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention.
Would you like another caviar lunch?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? Sure, okay, let's raise an objection. 5 minutes between the witness of the murder and the arrest? Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time. If you like it al dente. Oh no. Objection! I've got lunch boxes that tie pasta into knots, Rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well,
I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone.
But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time it was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Inconceivable!
Well, then it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go?
Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close.
I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned, and with that, court is adjourned.
Oh no! Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me. Foist, that's a good word. I prefer not to take defense team leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence.
Well, what was that?
Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes?
My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr.
Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox?
Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence.
Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she gonna pull out of her lunchbox this time? I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
What? There was blood found on that shoe.
Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs.
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence?
Simple as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself.
And you had blood tests performed?
Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics.
In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this evidence.
What?
You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, the shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Ooh, is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty solid. You could at least study some evidence law, really.
The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness.
Anything to ensure that the guilty are proved, Judge.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
Oof, okay. Fuck, I thought we were done. There's only one. Okay, well apparently that's wrong. But there's only one blood. There's only one blood type on the knife, and that's where I have a problem. You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant without a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, Ricky? Huh? Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types. A, B, O, and AB. I'm O. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood.
That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright.
Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there, which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person, or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results, but they said there's a very little doubt it could be anyone else but Miss Lana Skies. So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. Fuck. We have to be careful now. You ordered the peppered fish. Ew! Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or do you have any problem with the shoe? I do. I have a problem. This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? Yes, there's a problem. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. Fuck. Ah! That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'll give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with the evidence. Ah! Why is there blood on the bottom of his shoe? Shouldn't it only be on the top? Wouldn't that make sense? It's the victim's shoe, not her shoe. I wonder if you noticed there's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie, or it'll be blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed. There is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of his shoe? There's no blood on the floor, so how did it get on the bottom of his shoe? Please be correct. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint... Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't there any bloody footprints found in the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about the shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Edward, you and I both know we were both there. There's no goddamn footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order! Order! Well, witness! What? Great going, Mr. Wright. But it's true that the lack of footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. God damn it, Emma! Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see, now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hand aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but a deadly predator, this one, a leopard woman. Wow. Okay. I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that, I'm not sure. I like your attitude, Mr. Edworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? It means it washed away the blood. Still don't get it, Mr. Wright. Well, why can't we go check it with luminol? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over the oil drum for the one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would have become evidence against her. Considering that she's confessed to this crime, I really don't think so, but okay. That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Wow, that's a prosecutor's specialty. Erasing evidence. That reminds me, this guy's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please. What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime, and she tried to conceal it. But enough. There's no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor.
Very well.
But Angel Star is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water.
This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye.
Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence.
Wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else.
The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the Kaffa Queen. Look at this.
A photograph?
I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim.
I see no room for error in this evidence.
But Mr. Wright, wait, look at the asphalt in this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet.
Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not. Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. Oh, Mia! This is the last piece of evidence.
Very well, this time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Hang on.
Objection!
Your Honor, wait.
What is this? What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever is it? Can it wait?
No, it can't. Then it'll be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give every blah, blah, blah. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, right, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah. I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this.
I suppose as we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake.
Ooh, you know what? I think that we should go ahead and just do a quick little save, just in case. Shh, we didn't do that. It's fine. Don't tell anybody.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem in this photograph.
What's going on here? I don't think I have a problem with anything other than that. What's that? What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth.
Your Honor.
You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph.
A muffler is also a part on a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as a part of the exhaust system, a pipe.
I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler?
Huh. So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's not true. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what
Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us what you think this piece of cloth must blah 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 blah. Words. Take that.
Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler? Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh no!
Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings.
Suspend?
I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed?
I suppose so. Whew, that was close. But we made it. At least for now.
This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all.
Dude, you've already ate so much. He's still hungry? To be continued. Alright, so definitely not the best round I've played. We got a little confused for a little bit there, but it's totally fine. We figured it out. Normally, you know, we don't get stuck like that, but it's fine. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for hanging out with me. Remember, my name's PeskyGriffey, and you can watch all of my pre-recorded videos of this series on YouTube if you like some time. All right, bye guys.